This is the project of 2 Timothy by Marcos, Mark, and Colin.
The date of 2 Timothy occurs before Paul's death. This letter is his last will and testament. Paul wrote his second letter to Timothy knowing that the end of his life was nearing. He wrote instructions to Timothy pertaining to the commitment to God and the aspect in which people should do God's work. Paul also wrote what should be like when living your last days. This letter occurred weeks before Paul's actual death. Paul was released from his first imprisonment for a short period of ministry during which he wrote 1 Timothy. Paul was under house arrest and could receive visitors. Also, he had access to scriptures. 2 Timothy finds Paul once again in a Roman prison. However, this time Paul's imprisonment seems way more severe and deadly. Paul had no hope of being released from prison this time. Paul was held in a cold cell, in chains, and with no hope of deliverance. He was abandoned by his companions because of the fear of persecution, leaving him with no hope. He wrote to Timothy, urging him to travel to Rome for one last visit.
In 2 Timothy, Paul was arrested due to King Nero's persecution of Christians. Paul knew that it was unlikely that he would be released from the Roman prison. When Paul was arrested in 1 Timothy, he was only under house arrest and didn't have many strict rules that applied to him. However, when he was arrested again in 2 Timothy, Paul was put in a Roman cell with strict rules that were input. Paul was deserted by all the people close to him because they feared of also being executed. Paul wrote a letter to Timothy asking him to come visit him one last time before his execution. Whether Timothy actually went to see Paul is unknown. Paul was later on martyred for his belief in God. Paul wrote this letter to Timothy because he feared that Timothy's relationship with God was weakening, and he wanted Timothy to carry on his work.
Verse 13. Retain the standard of sound words which you have heard from me, and the faith and love which are in Christ Jesus. Passage in the second chapter of 2 Timothy, which is verse 13, it represents the theme of being loyal to the faith. Reason being, and it explains in the verse, it says, retain the sound words which you have heard from me, and the faith and love which are in Jesus Christ. He is describing that you should notice all the love and teachings that have been given to us should really make us be faithful and loyal to us. The major theme of this short epistle, which is persevere in the proclamation of the gospel, doesn't reference to a specific passage, but more in all to the overall meaning and background also to this letter, which is two things. One, that it was to Paul's last letter, and it was to Paul's closest companion. And what he's saying is we shouldn't dwell on his own accomplishments as an apostle, really, but he is more into making the reassurance that Timothy is ready to do his own duties. This dual meaning throughout the letters really help out to show the wit and endurance. And that is the end of our project by 2 Timothy.